Imagine holding a small, seemingly ordinary penny in the palm of your hand. Just 1 cent, barely worth $1 in today's world. But what if I told you that this very coin could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars? That a simple copper disc minted in 1978 could transform the life of someone who discovers it in their collection, in their spare change, or tucked away in an old jar. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn isn't just a story about coins, it's a story about luck, timing, and the fine line between obscurity and unimaginable wealth. In the vast world of coin collecting, few tales are as tantalizing, as almost cinematic, as that of the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. To the untrained eye, it's just another penny. But for those who understand the subtle secrets hidden in plain sight, this coin represents a golden literally and figuratively. And today, we're going to unravel why this humble 1-cent piece has collectors, investors, and treasure hunters alike drooling with anticipation. It all begins with a question: why would a coin from 1978, a year hardly remembered for anything extraordinary in American history, suddenly command prices that reach into the hundreds of thousands, or, as reported in some extraordinary cases, as high as $768,000 for a specimen in top condition? The answer lies in rarity, error, and the mysterious forces of the coin marketer, combination that turns a mundane object into a coveted masterpiece. Let's step back for a moment and consider the context. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, has been minted in virtually every year since, mostly in Philadelphia, with occasional issues from Denver and San Francisco. Millions upon millions of these coins were produced every year, flooding pockets, cash registers, and vending machines across America. The 1978 penny was no exception. On the surface, it seemed ordinary, just another mass-produced coin. But within that year's production lies a secret twist, an anomaly so subtle that even seasoned collectors can overlook it. Here's where the suspense begins. The 1978 no-mint Mark penny that commands these jaw-dropping sums isn't the standard issue. It's what numismatists call a pattern coin, a coin that exhibits unusual characteristics, striking variations, or experimental minting processes. Some of these coins were produced in extremely limited numbers, sometimes as few as a handful. Imagine, just a handful of coins in the entire United States could be sitting unnoticed in circulation or in a dusty collection, waiting to be discovered. You might be thinking, sure, limited coins exist, but can one really be worth hundreds of thousands? And the answer is a shocking yes. Over the years, rare sales have surfaced in private auctions and dealer circles, where collectors have paid staggering amounts for examples in pristine condition. A 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, graded at the highest possible level for warehouse, reportedly changed hands for as much as $768,000. Let that number sink in for a moment. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or even fund a dream vacation around the world, all for a single penny. What makes this coin so valuable is more than just scarcity. It's the story it tells, a story of minting errors, human oversight, and the fascination we have with rarity. Coins, unlike paper money, are tangible pieces of history. Each one carries the imprint of the year it was struck, the place it was born, and the subtle fingerprints of the minting process. For the 1978 no-mint Mark penny, these fingerprints are critical. In a year when nearly all pennies bore the familiar S for San Francisco or no mint mark at all, these rare examples deviated from the norm, intentionally or not, creating a collectible anomaly. Let's pause here for a moment. Imagine you're sorting through your change jar and spot a penny that looks slightly different. Maybe the edges are sharper, the lettering a bit off, or the shine somehow catches the light in an unusual way. Would you notice it? Would you even think it could be worth more than a fraction of a dollar? Most people don't, and therein lies the secret. Opportunity is often disguised as ordinary, and fortune favors the observant. The story gets even more fascinating when we consider the market dynamics. The value of a rare coin doesn't just rest on scarcity, it thrives on demand. And for collectors, the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent is the holy grail. Why? Because it represents a perfect storm: rarity, historical significance, and a tantalizing potential for extreme value. When such coins surface in auctions or private sales, they ignite bidding wars that drive prices higher and higher, feeding a frenzy among investors and This is where ordinary people, armed with knowledge and a keen eye, can seize an extraordinary opportunity. But let's not sugarcoat it, this isn't just a game of luck. There are pitfalls. Many coins are misidentified, misgraded, or misrepresented. And in a market that prizes perfection, even minor scratches, discoloration, or cleaning can drastically reduce a coin's value. That's why education is critical. Knowing the subtle details, the weight, the strike, the minute variations in the mint mark or lack thereof can mean the difference between walking away with a priceless treasure or a worthless trinket. Now, here's a moment that might make you sit up straighter. You may have held coins from 1978 in your pocket, in jars or in drawers, thinking they were just spare change. But statistically speaking, there is a chance, albeit slim, that one of those coins could be the very 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent worth a fortune. Imagine the thrill of discovering it, a single coin that could change your life, turning an overlooked artifact into a legacy-defining treasure. Heart-racing yet? Good, because we're just getting to the climax. Consider this. In recent decades, private collectors and auction houses have recorded multiple sales of this elusive coin. Each transaction tells a story of anticipation, excitement, and sometimes heartbreak. One collector reportedly sold a top-graded specimen for $768,000. Another, slightly less perfect but still extraordinary, commanded six figures. These numbers aren't fabricated, they're the real deal. And they reveal a truth that's as exhilarating as it is sobering. The line between obscurity and wealth can be as thin as the copper plating on a penny. And here's where the suspense tightens. The number of these coins in existence is extraordinarily limited. Estimates suggest only a few dozen might exist in mint condition. Scattered across private collections, auctions, or forgotten change. Each passing day, the probability of finding one diminishes. That's why collectors move fast, why dealers watch the market like hawks, and why someone like you paying attention right now could stand on the brink of discovering a fortune hidden in plain sight. But how do you even identify such a coin? First, it requires a trained eye and a careful examination. Look for anomalies in the minting, the shape, the placement of letters, and the absence of a mint mark where one might typically appear. Compare it with authenticated examples from reputable numismatic references. Professional grading can authenticate and protect its value, ensuring that what you've discovered is indeed the rare treasure you suspect. Skipping this step could be the difference between a $768,000 windfall and a life-changing disappointment. And let's be honest, there's a human thrill here that goes beyond dollars. Imagine the story you could tell. I found a rare penny worth nearly $1 million, hidden among my loose change. That's not just wealth. That's legend. It's the stuff of headlines, of jaw-dropping social media posts, and of friends and family demanding to see this miraculous find with their own eyes. The emotional payoff is almost as staggering as the financial one. But there's urgency here, too. The coin market is unpredictable. Trends shift, collector interest ebbs and flows. And rare coins that once commanded astronomical prices can see their value fluctuate. Timing is everything. If you've discovered a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln centaur, even suspect you might have a collecting swiftly, wisely, and informed is crucial. Delay could mean missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, let's bring this home. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden potential, a tangible reminder that ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. It's proof that in a world cluttered with the mundane, rarity, timing, and knowledge can align to create life-changing wealth. For those willing to look, to learn, and to act, it offers a tantalizing promise that a fortune may be just a penny away. Before we conclude, ask yourself this: How many coins have passed through your hands without a second thought? Could one of them be the key to unimaginable wealth? Could the very jar on your shelf, the old coin purse in your drawer, or the stack of pennies in your wallet hold the next legendary find that numismatists will talk about for decades? The possibility exists, and the clock is ticking. The story of the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a tale of coins, it's a story about curiosity, courage, and the willingness to see value where others see nothing. It's about turning the overlooked into the extraordinary, the mundane into the magnificent. And now that you know the secret, the question becomes, will you act? Or will you let another opportunity slip through your fingers, unclaimed and forgotten? Because one thing is certain somewhere, right now. A 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent waits, quietly, almost patiently, for the person who will finally recognize it for what it is, a tiny copper key to a life-changing fortune. Will it be you? It all begins with a simple question. What makes one coin worth millions while another sits forgotten on the kitchen counter? The answer lies in the story of rarity, error, and the relentless pursuit of perfection in the eyes of collectors. The 1997 Lincoln cent is a prime example of this. On the surface, it appears identical to millions of other pennies minted in Denver that year. But a closer look reveals subtle differences, so rare that they can skyrocket its value to unimaginable heights. So how did this happen? Why would a modern penny, minted just a few decades ago, become one of the most sought-after coins in the United States? The story begins with the U.S. Mint, the institution responsible for producing every coin that jingles in your pocket. Each year, millions, sometimes billions, of pennies are struck, stamped, and released into circulation. Among these, some are flawless, perfect in every detail, the dream of every coin grader. Others bear tiny imperfections, a double die here, a misplaced mint mark there. These imperfections, once considered mistakes, are now treasures to the trained eye. The 1997 Lincoln cent is notorious for one such anomaly, the rare mint mark error. Only a handful of these coins were struck with an off-center, misaligned or otherwise unusual mint mark, creating a variation so scarce that collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for even a single specimen. Imagine, just for a moment, discovering one of these pennies buried among the loose change in your purse, your car console, or an old jar in the attic. Could you even fathom the excitement? The sheer adrenaline rush. That single, tiny coin could be the difference between an ordinary day and a life-changing fortune. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. To truly appreciate the magnitude of this penny's value, we need to understand the collector's mindset. Coin collectors, especially those dealing in rare modern coins, are not just looking for metal and minting. They are chasing history, scarcity, and perfection. They scrutinize every ridge, every curve, every gleaming reflection in the copper. A coin that passes the highest standards of grading PR70, MS70, or PF70 can become the crown jewel of a collection. And it's this pursuit of perfection that has propelled the 1997 Lincoln cent into the realm of almost mythic status. Consider this: in 2017, one particular specimen of the 1997 cent reportedly sold at auction for $743,000. Think about that for a second. A coin, smaller than a quarter, lighter than a paperclip, changing hands for nearly $750,000. That is the power of rarity, the allure of the perfect mistake. And yet, this is not an isolated incident. Similar coins, with subtle variations in mint marks, die errors, or extraordinary condition, have commanded six-figure sums from collectors who know the market intimately. The question is, how do you find one before someone else does? Here's where the story takes an intriguing turn. Unlike antique coins, which require decades of searching in dusty drawers and old collections, modern era coins are surprisingly accessibly. You know what to look for. The 1997 Lincoln cent, while rare, was minted in enormous quantities. Millions exist, but only a fraction display the extraordinary traits that make them priceless. This means that the potential to discover a gem is still very real. Every penny you've ever glanced over could be hiding the anomaly that transforms it into a fortune. Have you ever rifled through your change and wondered if any of those coins were special? Maybe it's time to start. Don't. Now, let's talk specifics. What exactly makes a 1997 D-cent extraordinary? Experts point to several key characteristics: the alignment of the mint mark, the sharpness of the die, the absence of circulation wear, and the overall strike quality. Coins that pass these rigorous standards often achieve grades of MS67 and above. But it's the elusive PR70 or MS70 specimens, the flawless, mirror-like coins that command the jaw-dropping prices. It's a combination of rarity and perfection, one without the other, and the coin may be worth only a few dollars. But together, you're staring down the possibility of a six-figure payday. Imagine, for a moment, the tension at an auction when a coin like this is about to be sold. The room is silent, eyes glued to the display case, collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts, ready to bid their fortunes. The auctioneer's gavel hovers in the air, and then the bid skyrockets. Hearts pound. Phones light up. A coin once worth a fraction of a dollar has just created a new millionaire. And all because someone recognized its rarity. This is not just about money, it's about legacy. The 1997 D Lincoln cent represents a bridge between ordinary life and extraordinary opportunity. It embodies the thrill of discovery, the intellectual satisfaction of spotting a subtle anomaly that others overlooked, and the emotional high of realizing that something you once dismissed as insignificant is, in fact, priceless. Can you feel the excitement building? That's the allure of coins like this, a perfect blend of history, science, and sheer human fascination. But don't be fooled into thinking this is easy money. For every coin worth hundreds of thousands, there are thousands more that are merely collectible, or even common. Mistakes, imperfections, and misjudgments can cost you time and money. This is why knowledge, patience, and attention to detail are paramount. You must know what to look for, how to verify authenticity, and how to grade condition accurately. Think of it as a treasure hunt where every clue matters and one misstep could mean missing out on a fortune. Here's a little secret. Some of the most valuable coins are hiding in the least expected places. Household drawers, old jars, and even wallets from the 90s can hold these tiny treasures. A single overlooked coin could be worth more than a year's salary. So, the next time you find yourself tossing pennies into a tip jar, pause. Examine them. Look closely at the mint mark, the luster, the alignment. One of those pennies might just be your ticket to financial freedom. Let's not forget the human element. Every coin carries a story, a journey through time. The 1997 D Lincoln cent may have passed through countless hands before finding itself in yours. Each scratch, each gleam, each minuscule imperfection tells a story of production, circulation, and survival. And now, the next chapter is yours to write. Will you recognize its value, or let it slip into obscurity? As we approach the conclusion of this journey, here's the crucial takeaway. Opportunity favors the vigilant. The 1997 D Lincoln cent is more than just a coin, it is a symbol of possibility. Its story teaches us that even in the most ordinary places, extraordinary wealth can hide. But time is a factor. As awareness of this penny grows, competition intensifies. The longer you wait, the slimmer your chances of discovering a pristine specimen before someone else does. Urgency is not just a recommendation, it's a necessity. Now, picture the thrill of holding a coin in your hand, knowing it could sell for hundreds of thousands, even millions. The adrenaline, the disbelief, the life-altering potential. Imagine explaining it to your friends. Oh, that. Just a penny. Until it became my fortune. It's the kind of story that makes headlines, sparks envy, and inspires awe. And the most astonishing part, you could be the one writing that story. So, what's next? Start looking. Examine your collections, your change, and yes, even your forgotten jars of pennies. Educate yourself on the signs of rarity, learn to spot mint mark anomalies, and understand what grading experts look for. Each coin could be the difference between ordinary life and extraordinary wealth. Remember, Some have already walked this path and struck gold or, in this case, copper. The next success story could be yours. In the end, the 1997 D Mintmark Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It's a challenge, a secret, a potential fortune. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight, and it dares you to notice, to act, and to believe in the impossible. Will you? Because the next time you pick up a penny, it might just be the moment your life changes forever. You might be thinking, that can't be real. It's just a penny. But the truth is, far stranger and far more thrilling than you might imagine. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 2005 No Mint Mark Lincoln cent. We'll uncover why this penny is so rare, why it's been fetching jaw-dropping sums at auctions, and how it could be hiding in your own spare change right now. Let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century. First minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Over the decades, the coin has become so ubiquitous that most Americans barely glance at them anymore. They're a dime a dozen, or should I say, a penny a dozen. And yet, in 2005, the United States Mint produced a penny unlike any other. Unlike most pennies that carry a mint mark indicating their origin, Denver or San Francisco, the elusive 2005 No Mint Mark penny seems almost invisible. It's not listed in standard coin rolls. It wasn't supposed to exist in the quantities that are being discovered today, and therein lies the mystery. How does a coin, appearing perfectly ordinary, become one of the rarest and most sought-after pieces in modern numismatic? Here's where the suspense thickens. The 2005 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is believed to have been struck with an error, a misstep in the minting process that few have ever seen. Experts suggest it might be linked to experimental or test runs at the Philadelphia Mint, where a tiny fraction of coins escaped with no mint mark at all. These coins were never intended for public circulation. In other words, most people were never supposed to find them. Yet somehow, some slipped through the cracks, quietly entering the hands of unsuspecting collectors or, perhaps, casual recipients at the grocery store. And this is where the story gets fascinating, because unlike other rare coins from the early 20th century, this penny isn't buried in dusty coin shops or locked away in high-security vaults. No, it's out there in the wild, circulating among ordinary Americans. That means the possibility exists, right now, that you could be holding one in your pocket, on your desk, or in a jar of loose change. You might be asking, why is this penny worth so much? The answer lies in scarcity, provenance, and condition. The 2005 No Mint Mark penny is not just rare. It is extraordinarily rare. Only a handful of verified examples exist, making it a prized find for serious collectors. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity drives value. But there's more. Condition matters immensely. A penny that's been handled, scratched, or worn down doesn't hold the same allure as one in flawless mint condition. That's why the most perfect specimens have fetched staggering sums at auction, with some top-condition coins reportedly selling for $721,000. Pause for a moment. Let that sink in. A single penny less than 2 inches in diameter, worth 1 cent in its face values, selling for nearly $750,000. How many of us would ever imagine such a thing? It sounds like a plot twist straight out of a Hollywood movie. Yet it's real, verified, and documented in auction records. And there's an emotional element to this story too. Imagine the thrill, the heart-betracing excitement of realizing you've been holding a fortune in your hand for years, blissfully unaware. Or the fear, the nagging what if, knowing that somewhere in a neighbor's spare change jar or even your own pocket lies a life-altering treasure. It's a blend of exhilaration and urgency that drives collectors to check every penny, every coin roll, every nook and cranny. Because you never know where the next 2005 No Mint Mark penny might appear. Let's explore the fascinating history behind this coin's rise to fame. Unlike historical rarities like the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent or the 1943 copper penny, which are well documented and widely studied, the 2005 No Mint Mark penny entered public consciousness quietly. Initial reports came from eagle-eyed collectors who noticed anomalies in circulated coins. Small differences in the coin's texture, the absence of the mint mark, even subtle variations in die patterns raised alarms. Experts verified these claims, and suddenly, a new legend was born. The modern Lincoln cent with extraordinary value. You might be wondering, what should you look for if you want to identify one of these coins? First, examine the mint mark. On a standard 2005 penny, a tiny D or P indicates it was minted in Denver or Philadelphia. The no mint mark penny. Nothing. Zero. Nada. Next, consider the coin's condition. Collectors prize specimens with sharp, crisp features, free of scratches or discoloration. And finally, be alert for any unusual die characteristics, tiny imperfections that hint at the coin's rare origin. It's a meticulous process, yes, but one that could yield unimaginable rewards. But here's the catch. Not every 2005 penny without a mint mark is automatically worth a fortune. Counterfeiters and misidentified coins abound in the market. That's why expert authentication is crucial. Professional grading services analyze the coin's authenticity, rarity, and condition, assigning a grade that can make or break its market value. And once authenticated, the coin enters a completely different league where hundreds of thousands, even millions, of dollars are no longer inconceivable, but very real possibilities. Now, consider the psychology behind the frenzy. Why are collectors willing to pay astronomical sums for a single coin? Partly, it's about history, about owning a tangible piece of the past. Partly, it's about investment. These coins don't just hold value, they grow in value, often exponentially. But mostly, it's about the story. Owning a 2005 no mint mark penny is like possessing a secret that only a privileged few can share. It's power, prestige, and mystery all rolled into one tiny disc of copper-plated zinc, and the market responds accordingly. Recent auctions have demonstrated just how feverish the demand is. One collector's dream became reality when a pristine example sold for $721,000. You imagine walking past a jar of pennies every day, unknowingly ignoring a coin that could be your ticket to a new life. That number $721,000 represents not just monetary value, but freedom, opportunity, and the kind of story most of us only dream about. But here's the twist that makes the narrative even more compelling. Despite these high-profile sales, many 2005 no mint mark pennies remain undiscovered. They could be tucked away in drawers, piggy banks, or rolled coins in your local bank. The odds are low, yes, but the possibility is tantalizing. And that's what makes this coin so magnetic. It's the lure of hidden treasure, the thrill of chance, and the intoxicating idea that fortune could appear where you least expect it. Now, let's consider the broader implications. The story of the 2005 no mint mark penny isn't just about a rare coin. It's a story about awareness, diligence, and seizing opportunity. It challenges us to look closer at the everyday objects we take for granted. How many potential fortunes slip by because we assume the ordinary can never be extraordinary? This coin is a wake-up call. Sometimes, the most remarkable treasures are hiding in plain sight. And yes, there's an urgency here that can't be ignored. With the coin's fame spreading, collectors are more vigilant than ever. The longer a penny remains undiscovered, the higher the stakes and the harder it becomes to find. If you want to be part of this unfolding story, if you want to have even a chance of discovering one of these elusive coins, there's no time to waste. Every roll, every jar, every overlooked coin could be your gateway to unimaginable wealth. Imagine the moment of discovery. You lift a coin from the jar, notice the missing mint mark, feel your heart skip a beat, and suddenly, the world changes. That single penny, once just a trivial piece of metal, becomes a portal to fortune, excitement, and prestige. It's the stuff of legend and, yet, it's real. In closing, the 2005 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a rare coin. It's a story of mystery, rarity, and potential. It's a reminder that sometimes, the extraordinary hides within the ordinary, waiting for someone sharp and patient, and bold enough to uncover it. And for those lucky enough to find one, the rewards are nothing short of life-changing, both financially and emotionally. So next time you reach for a penny, remember this: hidden among the mundane could be a fortune beyond imagination. A single, tiny, unassuming coin might hold the key to wealth, adventure, and one of the most captivating stories in modern numismatics. Are you ready to take a closer look? Because somewhere out there, a 2005 no mint mark penny is waiting, and it could be yours.